Hello, Sunshine. I'm really happy to have you on my show. I'm Sylvie and I'm happy to be back on my podcast today with a very beautiful friend of mine. She's called Kiki, and we're gonna talk about how to surrender and letting the process unfold and watching it and just relaxing into the process. I've been pretty much doing that with my life as well, being really introvert in a sense and getting a lot of knowledge and new things in. But that's really exciting because now it's time to bring these ideas and stories out again. And I think I'm going to be podcasting much more now again. And also exciting new things are going to change on the podcast. But I'm really happy that you actually, Kiki, are helping me to start again because, we're going to have this beautiful conversation now. Would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for letting me be on this podcast with you. And I really love it already. I'm so inspired to talk to you about everything we already discussed and to share it with other people. So yeah, my name is Kiki. I'm very happy to be on this podcast and I'm so excited to see what we all can talk about today.
Beautiful. Yeah. So the topic of today is to surrender. And I think we can start with how Kiki and me met. It was very also a bit surrendering to the process and being honest with what happens, because we just met and it was very honest from the beginning in a sense that we just felt like we had this instant connection. And then we just let the things unfold and see how they went. And every time we meet now, we just have very inspiring talks. And I think what inspires me the most with our conversations and our relationship is that we can be mirroring each other quite well. And that's something I really value. So sometimes there's moments where I feel you are not truly yourself, or something is happening to you, or you're in a state that I can sense that is actually not really, profoundly you. And in that moment, I just feel it, and then I came back later I came back to it later, and I told you about it. Yeah. And I think that was really one of the first things that made it go very deep, right? Into our talks and our conversations.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the honesty, and also we both felt it. We both, when we met, and I was in this, when I meet new people, I get to, in my mind, I'm usually like, I want them to like me and I want them to think that I'm a cool person. So I project that onto you, and it feels, obviously, it can feel very fake. So I think that's what happened. And yeah, it's so nice that you gave me that feedback right away. Like, are you aware that this is what is happening to you when you meet new people? And I'm like, oh my God, yeah. I mean, yes, but no. And I wasn't really aware of it. So I'm so happy that our friendship already from the beginning is so honest and so, it's so real. That's what I feel like, and that's so nice. Because also when we met at the party and we talked for the first time, like the second party, I think, outside, but we did say to each other then, like, whoa, we have a great connection. I don't know you that well, but it's so strong. So that's great.
So, and I was thinking the last days often about this topic of surrendering into the process. Because I think often I don't want to say that everybody has it, but I have it and you have it, is that we try to control what is happening to us, or try to understand or anticipate already the outcome. And I think there's so much to learn and gain from the things happening to you at that moment without thinking about the outcome. So that's also actually what we do in my school all the time. That's what the teachers try to tell you all the time. Don't think about the outcome. And in a sense, in art school, it's a bit you need to understand that it's really important, but it's also such a big lesson for life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also think it's just beautiful to feel what is there right now without knowing how it's gonna change, because we cannot know how things are changing. So it doesn't even make any sense to really think about how it's gonna process very much in the future, because you cannot know anyways.
No.
So then I think, like, why not just,
Relax
like to the fullest
Yeah.
and just enjoy what is happening right now without judging it, or like without anticipating a negative or positive outcome on it, because there's so much that we can actually take from everything that happens to us, and we don't know what is going to change. Like, we don't know how it's going to bring, what's going to bring to us. Maybe the most awful situation that felt very awful at first is going to be the thing that changes your life in the most positive direction.
Yes.
That's also how I feel about my several sicknesses that I had. Several, in a sense, also very annoying moments with life. I'm not sure if you have that as well, like just moments where you think, like, I cannot handle this anymore. I just I'm so tired of this, I'm so sick of it. And then these moments, most of the times, they have taught me all the things that I now can, like, resource from. And that is actually so nice to know that in the moment. And we just now talked about it as well, that it is so nice to be aware of these things in the moment.
Yeah.
So when something happens to me and I think, oh, this is not good, then I'm now like, oh, it's like I'm just like, hold on, like, wait a minute, like, actually maybe this might be the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it yet,
Exactly.
but it will make sense.
Yeah. No, I really, really agree on that, because I feel like everything that happened to me that was really in the moment, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I'm like, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. It always unfolded into that it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So I also think about things that were like, why is this happening to me? Or why is this not happening to me?
Oh, that one is also a good
That's
one.
a really good one, right? And like, why is it not happening for me? Or why is it's the best thing? Usually you don't know. And I think that's the great thing, because you're like always judging it, like, oh, it's so bad for me, and why is this happening? And you get in this negative spiral. I used to have this as well, and now I really want to learn and still teach myself to be like, no, wait, hold up, I don't know this. Like, I don't know if it's bad or good, and it could be the best thing to have ever happened to me. And that's so beautiful.
I really feel that as well. And I think it's even like how I see it from all this introspection I was in the last half year, where I was also not on my podcast and all that, is because I was so inside of me, and I discovered for me that I like by default, there's no meaning to anything. And I can put the meaning. There's nobody who can tell me what I have to put meaning on, right?
Yes.
For example, with death. Like, I actually dreamed tonight that my grandma died. It's interesting. I'm gonna call her later.
Yeah, you should.
And so also with death, like, I used to have so many panic attacks, so I would think I'm dying, like, very often, and I used to always think it's very awful to die. But actually, I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, so I can also say dying is cool, like,
or beautiful.
Like, so just like another step in my life that I don't know yet. It's like, it's like becoming an adult, or I don't know, becoming a granny. Like, I don't know how this gonna be like, or like, proper adult. Like, I'm actually in the process right now, but like having kids or all these things that I don't know how it's gonna be like. And now already putting a negative meaning on it means that I'm already making it negative for me. And since I see that, in a sense, reality is very, in the basic core of it is without meaning in it. It just is.
Yeah,
so
we give it meaning.
put meaning. And how powerful is that?
That's so powerful.
That's so beautiful, no?
Yeah, and it's also I think it really makes me think about the conversation we had in the kitchen about where you were like, what's my intention for this new moon? And you were like, I want to just be like, have more rest. And you were like, why not? Because you can decide like to be calm, and no one is going to tell you, no, you should be stressed and you don't deserve to be like have rest, or you have to control over it and how you perceive things, I think. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's also like, even if somebody tells you you should be stressed, right? They cannot make you stress.
No.
Like nobody can ever tell you inside that you need to be stressed.
No.
Of course, they can force you to do stuff, but also I think that's very unlikely actually, that we're actually very much forced to be stressed. I think it's more ourselves that we stress ourselves. Yeah. So it's like, it's something we can give to us all the time, just deciding like, okay, actually I'm just gonna be relaxed now, or I'm like, we have the freedom to choose or to make to put meaning, right? So if something happens to me, I can say, oh, actually I'm gonna surrender and enjoy the process. Like I don't know where this is gonna take me, right? It's like somebody asking you like, oh, do you want to go for a scroll? And you're like, yeah, actually, why not? Let's go that way. And just
it's full surrendering.
Yeah, like, oh, life is inviting me for this new perspective on life right now. Oh, nice. Like, just gonna see what happens here.
Exactly. And it's also what we talked about, that it's kind of like you're the avatar for your higher self. Like your path, it's there, it's just there, and it's gonna happen anyway, and just surrender. And when you said the word surrender to me, I was like, this is the word I was looking for, because that's what I've been searching for. Like, how can I just feel calm and not anxious? And I'm very much I want to be in control a lot, and I want to control everything and be calm, but then also control the situation the whole time, and then you can't enjoy it, and also you're not surrendering to your path, I think. And it's so beautiful when you do, because it's like lots of calmness and just enjoying the whole process and the whole life, like everything.
And also it's a magic trick in a way, because in a sense, when you just let go of these ideas about the future and put positive meaning in the things that you want to be, like having positive meaning out, right? Like I rather have something positive than negative in my life, so I rather put positive meaning into things that happen to me. And there's really this magic about it, because suddenly these things really turn out positive to you. So you are really having the power to choose for yourself. Like I can say, my panic attacks were the most awful thing. Or I say now, wow, they taught me so much about death. And now I'm at a point where I can say, I'm actually like not looking forward. Like I don't want to end my life. I'm really happy about my life.
Of course.
But I'm also being like, this is going to be a new thing in my life one day, one time, like maybe in hopefully 100 years. But but it's going to come. And I'm putting a positive meaning into it. Like it's a new step for me. And then magically, it's also going to be that.
Exactly. It is going to be a positive thing then, because you make it a positive thing. Like no one can tell you, but this is terrible. Like if it's for you, it's like a positive, beautiful thing, then it is a beautiful, positive thing.
And we are actually stealing so much of the people's beliefs all the time. We learned this stuff already when we were very early, like very young. So people would tell us, death is a bad thing, and this is a good thing.
Sad
and and so we are actually taking all these things from our parents or from our societies that we actually maybe don't want, actually. And it's not ours if it doesn't feel right. I mean, you can still, you can put negative meaning in things you want to, always. It's just about what you prefer. And I personally prefer to put positive meaning into things, because then I just have a nicer life.
And I also think that it's also about like manifesting, right? When you want things to go a certain way, or you have this strong feeling it should go a certain way, and you just surrender and you make it a positive thing, and that everything just happens for that reason that guides you into the right path. I think that's such a beautiful mindset as well. It really helps you to be more calm, be more in touch with yourself, I think, and just have faith in your higher self, I think. And I really, really like that mindset, because I was struggling with lots of anxiety always, and wanting to control situations, and because I have such strong, gut feeling, and I always feel like, but I know how it's supposed to go, and I want it to go this way, and I was always very angry at myself when it doesn't go the way I was thinking it was going to be like. But then it's such a beautiful thing to just say to yourself, I'm surrendering now, and I'm just letting go of all those beliefs, how it should go, and all of the control, because your higher self has this path for you, and you will just be guided in that path. So that's so beautiful.
So nice that you bring the higher self, and I really like that. I'm just gonna quickly explain what we mean by it, because maybe somebody here is I think I did already talk about higher selves, maybe, but not so closely in my podcast, because it misses half a year of my development. And I'm gonna talk about it, of course, much more, but so the idea we see as a higher self is that there is something more intelligent than us, that is organizing everything around us, that is organizing our bodies, for example, that is knowing the things, like that is higher in a sense, like in a higher dimension, a higher sphere, like in higher intelligence than our physical minds.
Yes.
And that, because I think it just makes sense to me, like this is just what I found for myself would make the most sense to me. Then we are like a little portion of this higher self, in the sense that we are physicalized beings.
Avatar.
I really like it was
avatar.
a download one moment. I was like, oh my god, I think I'm this avatar. Like this game figure, in a sense, like. And I really love this, because then I was listening to a podcast, and then they were talking about the same thing, but it happens to me a lot that I have the idea first myself, and then it's like the feedback comes from my life, and then I'm like, I think it's for me, it's a thing, this avatar, and it's also so fun. Like it's the same idea, in the sense that we can put meaning, and we can decide which story we want to talk, like tell, like which story do you want to tell in your life. And for me, I think the story of being the avatar of my higher self and exploring this game of life is super fun and nice. And I don't know if it's true, and I won't know until maybe I die or whatever is gonna happen.
You don't know.
And I don't care actually if it's the reality, because I can choose my stories.
Exactly. And I think it's also, you can also say it's like a mindset thing. It's kind of like the believing it's positive and then watching it unfold. I mean, it's for me, it's like I can say that's fake, because when I'm like in a positive mindset and I watch everything unfold and be like surrender, then it also always, it just evolves like the way it should, like it always. And if you're like believing in the higher self, I feel it just could help you. I think it's just a tool.
Yeah,
it's a tool for our avatar,
it's
right?
Like, it's a story you can tell yourself. And if you, I literally believe that stories are everything. That's also why I want to, like, why I'm working already so much with stories in my design field, but also I'm gonna work a lot with stories, and hopefully, like be an art director and really work with the story itself. And I think that's really it. Like, stories are everything, and we can choose which story we want to tell to ourselves in our life. And you can tell the story of control, and the story of I don't know, pain and suffer and being a victim, right? But we can also tell the story of being connected, right? And then, and this is really just, it's right there. Like, it's not so far away from each other as we think. It's, the doors are like next to each other.
Exactly.
It's so close to each other that we don't need to really, you don't need to, change your whole life around. It's really just when something happens to you and you already, like, you react, and then it's like, oh, do I actually want this? Like, there's like,
is this serving me? Like,
do I really, like, I'm anticipating that it's gonna be like this, but do I really want this?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like in my life, it just kept on. It's like, I think the proof of, for me, the proof that this thing is real for me is that it just works.
Yes.
It just works. So
Yes.
something it happens to me, and I think like, oh, this is that, and this is shit, or this is good.
You judge it. Yeah.
And then I'm like, actually, don't want it to be like this. And then I have this moment, actually, I would like it to go like this.
Yes.
And then suddenly, really, like, reality turns around, and I'm in a very different situation where people help me, or where something changes, and I'm in a certain situation where actually it's super easy. Everything's super easy.
It's
and
crazy,
stuff
right?
just flows and falls into the right corners. And that's really also, and then it comes into this, like, this is surrendering, right? Like, in a sense, it's surrendering combined with putting a meaning that you would like, right?
Yeah.
So that's, but it's really important to surrender at the same time, and to not, pressure this new meaning onto it.
Not like control it.
Yeah, because that's again the old energy, right? You don't want that. You don't really know, but you have some things that you prefer, and you're like, this could be also very nice, and actually you would like that, and then just it can turn
like
around, and even if it comes back at you again and again, like I have friends also that just realizing that they have the same thing all over the time, and that I call loops.
Yes,
right.
I've been in so many loops.
Yes, and this is like, it's very important to understand that these loops are not there to make you suffer. They are there to make you understand that you need to react differently to it.
Yes.
So it's really about understanding, okay, I've been reacting to this loop all the time. Like, for example, it's something like, I don't know, maybe your car is stolen or your bike is stolen, and you react to it always like, now I have to do this and that. But maybe it's like this loop comes over and over again because you need to, or your higher mind, in a sense, wants you to understand, hey, maybe have a different reaction to it. And then suddenly you have a different reaction to it, and you maybe understand what you want to learn about it, because you can learn a lot of things about this stuff. Like, you can learn to be walking around, or you can learn how to get a bike without paying for it, or I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel so, like, also with those things that happen to you on a daily basis, that maybe you drop your cup or something breaks, and then you can get very, very frustrated. But it's also so nice to think about it, like, what's this showing me and what's this teaching me? And maybe also it's a way of letting out emotions. I also feel like in those moments where I drop things or something frustrating happens, and my first reaction will be frustration and be like, or upset. And then when you're mindful to it, it's like, okay, is it okay if I'm a bit upset about this? Yeah, of course. And then also for me, I also think about maybe other emotions also need to come out. Maybe I'm suppressing something, and this me dropping my cup is teaching me as well to let go of every emotion, like maybe let everything out. And I think that's also very important to think about it in that way, and just what you already said, to be like, what's this teaching me, or how do I want to perceive this? So I think that's a great mindset.
Definitely. And what I also thought just now is that what I think is very important is not to gloss things over, right? So if something comes up and there's a lot of pain and sadness, this is super valid. Like, everything is valid, and every emotion is also very valid. So it's very important thing, I think, that we're also listening and understanding these emotions, because if we gloss them over and send them away and think like, I need to be positive, that's really not what we mean. We mean actually that the opposite of that, understanding it, and something comes up and you get sad, and you're like, actually, maybe I'm sad because this means something to me, right? It's more actually the opposite of really understanding, okay, something is happening, and what does it mean to me, right? Like, I react this way. Do I actually want to have this? Should I change something in my life? Because I've been reacting to this in the same way, or this feels like a trap to me in the same way. A loop. Yes. And then just becoming more aware of yourself every day, every moment something like that happens to you, or small things, gut feelings, right?
Yes.
Now we are far away from the surrendering, but
the gut feeling.
The gut feelings as well. Maybe talk about this one the other day.
Later,
I really also wanted to this right, surrendering and putting the meaning into it you would like to have without pushing it, and then in the end really this watching it unfold, right? Enjoying everything fall into the right places, unfold its beauty. And even though it's also sometimes, of course, struggle, but just like looking at it closely and just like memorizing like the moment, and just and just this joy in it, right? This joy of also in the struggle, but really like seeing that our life is a journey, like it's a beautiful flower just opening up and blooming, and seeing this flower bloom as something that is happening to us and on so many different levels.
Yeah, and I think also it's good that you say like that your emotions are always valid. I think that's so important, and also because I don't think we're trying to say like, oh, but when you're angry or upset, that's a bad thing and you shouldn't feel it. It's more like surrendering to the feeling. So I also really like to tell myself like, oh, I'm surrendering to my sadness right now. I'm okay with feeling this feeling. And I think that's so important for the whole journey, to be like, it's so good for your body as well to recognize it. I feel like always when I'm stuck, when I have felt some things and I'm denying it, or I'm like, no, I should look at this positively, my body will just make me feel like, no, I have to let go of, or like surrender to this emotion, and I have to be aware that it's here. And I think that that's also so important. Yeah.
Definitely. And there also, it's then again this, okay, something happens to me, then I have a certain feeling towards it, like I react on it. And then this feeling, that's not the problem. And I think often we think the feeling is a problem. The feeling is just my information. It's information about this thing that happened to me. And to then understand, okay, this is just giving me feedback. This is just information on if I should continue doing this or not. Because I think that's the core of it, right?
Yes.
We are actually, that's how I see it. We are actually made to thrive. We are sunlight. We are inside. We are positive. That's what I believe, at least. And that's, I think, also how I see my world, because darkness is the absence of light. It's not the other way around. We don't have light as the absence of darkness. No, darkness is the absence of light. So our dark spots are the absence of the light coming there.
Yes.
This is just the analogy I take from nature, and I get a lot of analogies from nature. Actually, I love that.
Same.
Because nature just does its thing, and humans are so biased. We're so infiltrated with all these belief systems and all these patterns that we have, like from our ancestors and ancestors. And I'm so done with that, and I'm so ready to just choose myself
and fully surrender, like nature does.
Yes,
right?
And just live in the moment, and just don't put all these things on top of it. Just have whatever it is there. And so something happens, you get this information, you get really sad about something, so you have the information, oh, something is not in alignment with me. Because I think that's actually just everything it wants to tell you. It just wants to tell you something is happening to you that actually you don't prefer. And that's actually not in your energy. Because if something happens to you, what you prefer and what is meant for you and what is in your energy is gonna make you smile like you are smiling right now.
And I love this, and it makes you feel aligned, and it's just, and also we also talked about this, it comes easily. Most of the time, all the things that, well, we believe that all the things that come easily are aligned and good
and
for
meant
you,
for you
and meant for you. And when things are hard and struggling, and it's so much, and it's draining, I think it's also a way that maybe like your higher self or whatever you believe in is showing you that it's not meant for you, or it's not good for you, or at least not at this time. And that's I like that.
And then understanding this emotion that comes up not as something like an obstacle to push away or something that you need to avoid. Actually, the opposite. Understand, like, oh, okay, there's new information. That's actually great because I can work with this now. Like, I have new belief sentence that I have found. Maybe you think like, life is always mean to me. When when you again your car is broken and you're like, oh, life is always against me. And then you're like, oh, and then you get sad and you're like, like this sadness is actually just like a very big, like, very big sign, like your higher self or yourself actually showing to you like, this is not good for you.
Yes, exactly.
And then understanding, okay, this is not good for me, and what do I believe about myself to be true, that I react this way. And maybe you have that belief of life is always shit to me.
Yes.
And then you can be like, you are allowed to redefine your definitions, like to rethink, do I actually want this?
And is life shit to me?
Do I really want to believe that life is shit to me?
Yeah.
Like, is that something I want to believe? Is it a world that I would like to live in?
Yes, and is there someone else telling me to believe this? Like, that's the thing, because it's like, is there someone in my circle that's like, yeah, you have to believe that your life is shit, or that it's not good, or everything's happening is sad to you? And it's like, but you have the control.
You have the control about these.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, about the mindset. Yeah.
You have the control about how to react to things. You don't have the control about what's going to happen to you. But you can always say, like, actually, I really enjoy this, or this is going to be good for me in 10 years, maybe. I don't know now.
Yes.
It's just really, and then it's not glossing the emotions over, right? It's even better. It's working with them and seeing, oh, this is giving me joy and this is giving me sadness. Maybe at the sadness point, right? This is just a messenger, like telling me, hey, look at this. This is not good for you.
Yes.
And it's actually not made to stay.
No, and I think you can also really feel it inside your body. I feel like when I wasn't this aware of like the control and of the surrendering, I used to have such like anxious feeling inside my body. So I would also, when a person is not good for me, I always can sense it straight away inside my body. So much anxiety comes up. And I also always thought like, oh, it's maybe just I'm scared to bond to people. I'm scared to get close to people. But in the end, it always would unfold as the truth. Like, no, this person was actually not meant for me. And it's so crazy how your body can tell you, like, the messenger, like it gives you the message, right, in your body, and it's you that has to be aware of it and to respond to it and take good care of yourself in that way.
Definitely. And I really I feel like myself, I'm already quite evolved with it now, because I work with it a lot, and I'm really happy about it because it just works out so well, and things are just working so well for me, and I keep on discovering even more joy every day, and more excitement and love and realness and depth and beautiful relationships that are just coming around without having any process to develop. They're there. And I see also my friends, like, I see now their struggle so much more, which is beautiful because I love them a lot. And for example, the struggle of, trying to be liked. I have that struggle a lot in the past. I'm also a people pleaser. I used to be one. And
same, big time. Yeah.
And it just comes from the very core of believing that you're not worthy, and that you need other people. You need to make other people like you in order to be worthy. And that's really something I see now so much around me from these people, where I think, like, you are so valid, like, you are so worthy, you are so beautiful, so and great, like, you're just so amazing. And I understand now that it doesn't, like, these things are just obstacles. Pain is not meant to be there, right? No. We are not meant to be in pain. These people are not meant to feel unworthy. We are actually meant to feel worthy and loved. Yes. Because we are already that, I think. Yes. That's just how I see it.
Same.
I think we are all worthy.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
And that's a struggle that I see with my friends and so many people in society. And I think that's the core also of this problem in now I lost it a bit. What did we talk about before?
Yeah, about being liked and
Oh, yeah.
That you really want people to like you for validation and that stuff.
It's just a very core problem of society.
Yes, and that you see it inside your friends, and I think
that was it with the friends, and that then there's lots of people that try to be friends with people or try to behave in a certain way with people in social situations, that they're changing themselves. And now we're getting to the beginning of the conversation back. That's great. A loop, a good loop,
a really good loop. Yes,
positive loops. There's also definitely positive loops and joy loops. So in the end, that we change ourselves in order to fit better to certain people, to be liked, and that actually the people that are very like that are meant for us, in a sense that they notice that you were like,
because you noticed it straight away from me, and it's something I do definitely still struggle with sometimes, because I feel like I'm also in this time in my life where I'm meeting so much new people, and I'm in new communities, new groups, and it's actually so amazing because I notice it now straight away, and it's because also you told me. And when I meet new people, I'm like, no, I have to be aligned with myself, be myself.
You don't have to be.
No, you don't have to be. No. It's just I want to be. Yeah, it's nice, right?
I want you to be yourself.
Exactly. It's like this. It's way better to be yourself, because then everyone that's meant for you as well will come to you.
Harsh.
Yes. Because I feel like when in the time of my lives where I was struggling with, how do I come across on Instagram? How do I look with these certain people? Am I cool enough? Am I good enough? And constantly thinking about that at parties or at social gatherings, then also I wouldn't make the connections I want to make. I also wouldn't meet people that are meant for me, you know? And it's so nice to now know that in that sense I have the control, so to just be myself.
Yeah, it's so, isn't that like, I think I'm so, like, I feel myself being so happy about this, because it is so beautiful that actually we are supposed to be ourselves fully, right? And also I talked about this in my one series, one topic about being authentic with Luna. It's also authentic to be not authentic, of course. And at the same time, being your authentic self, speaking up for you and just behaving like you are worthy, right? That comes from authenticity, is also being safe with yourself and being worthy with yourself, will automatically attract the people into your life that you are meant for. Because there's, like, how I see it is that we are all puzzle pieces, right? And we are all different. Every puzzle piece is different. And every single one of us is meant for fit perfect into each other, actually, when we are ourselves. But if we try to be a puzzle piece of somebody else, there's going to be triple and double puzzle pieces, and the puzzle piece, the whole one, is not going to be full, right? There's going to be gaps and many more of one than we actually need.
Exactly. And it's also good to really realize right now that because I've been in a friend group my whole life that I actually didn't fit into. And like patterns and loops showed me multiple times I don't fit in here. Like it's not for me. Maybe in that time and maybe a few years it was good for me. But loops and things that kept on happening or new people I met really showed me like, no, this group is actually not where you're supposed to be in right now. And it's so beautiful that it just shows you, right? Like, and it's so nice to be aware of it, and also with the people you're surrounded with right now. Like, how do people make me feel? Do I feel like I'm myself? Do I feel like I can be myself? Is this where I want to be? Is this the group that fits me? I think it's really good to think about that.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
And then it's again the notion of surrendering to your true authentic self. And just letting go of these negative belief systems, these control mechanisms about changing yourself, and just relaxing into it. And I also wanted to say that surrendering, I think, is something that you do in the second, right?
Yes.
You cannot say I'm surrendering tomorrow or something. No. It's something. It's very connected with the idea of trust. It's connected with the idea of knowing that you are already in control in a sense.
Yes.
And you don't need to control anything.
No, it makes me think about the practice we did when we surrendered and then you dropped and I hold you.
Yeah.
And it made me think of this because you said like about the control, like you have the control of falling, like you're gonna fall into my arms and you know I'm gonna catch you.
Yeah.
And just surrendering to the feeling that you know I'm there to catch you. And other way around, you catching me. Mm-hmm. I really like this practice as well, to like really also practice inside your body. Are you able to really surrender? Because I actually used to like tense up when I did those practice, and I was like, no, I don't want to fall, because what if she can't hold me, or what if she's dropping me?
Yes.
And all these thoughts will come up into your mind, and then it's so good to practice it and go into it with surrendering. Like that's actually a good way to practice surrendering. Like also physical, in a physical way.
Also, what I do a lot is really literally surrender to my body muscles, like surrendering them. Just literally when you sit somewhere and you stand or you wait for the elevator, or at the desk somewhere, I don't know. And you just notice that you're tense. Yeah. That's already wonderful, actually, when just noticing, I'm tense. One of my best friends, Antonia, she's really much in this process right now, but just she actually noticed how much she's just tensing all the time. Yeah. Like she's actually on adrenaline rush all the time. And I think that's already, bam, like that's jackpot. When you notice when you notice it, and then once you notice it, you can take these little mini steps of, actually, what happens if I'm now relaxing my hip? And then you relax your hip. And then somehow, it's really weird. Doesn't make sense at all, right? There's this fear inside of you. And it says, don't surrender. No. Right? Like it says like, I don't know, I think there's something really bad gonna happen when you surrender and when you let go and when you relax your hip.
And that's crazy.
No, it's really, it really is there. Yeah. And it tells you, like, don't surrender. Like, don't let go of the tension in your hip, because maybe, I don't know, we're gonna
die.
We're gonna die.
Yeah, something bad is gonna happen. And I think it's the mind wanting to have control.
And staying in the negative patterns. And then I beg you, please just try it once. Yes. Like, don't listen to these scared thoughts, because please just try it once and see that actually nothing bad is gonna happen. Exactly. Actually, something really good is gonna happen. You're gonna feel more relaxed because your hips are relaxed.
Yes. And it's also the way our brain is wired, right? Where our brain is wired to be more negative, because when we were like living in caves and stuff, we had to be negative, because otherwise we would just get killed by animals or fires or scary things. Definitely. I don't know. And our brains are still this way. We have to know that we're still kind of like cavemen in our brains. Our brains haven't developed that much. Like, yes, we're smarter, but
I think the brains have developed a lot. Yes. But I think our belief systems and negative patterns, not really. Yeah.
Our belief systems are still kind of like cavemen's.
Yes. And I'm like so ready. I told you also, I think it was the day where I said like, I'm so ready for not living in that world anymore. Yes. I'm so ready to transcend over these patterns and just don't bother anymore. Like, I'm really ready for it.
And with everyone that wants to join, oh, that's so beautiful.
Because we are living in such a different world now, and we are very capable of actually transcending it just by doing like stuff like, I'm just gonna relax now. Like nobody tells me, like, I'm actually not in a scary situation. I'm laying in my bed. Everything is good. Like I'm safe, right? And I can just relax. Or I'm sitting at work. Actually, everything is good. Everything is perfect. Even not, everything maybe in your direction of defining the world would perfect. But in your reality, like, everything is actually okay right now. So you might as well give yourself the wellness, right, to relax. And also don't make it conditional. That's, I think, one of the most important things I learn also from myself, and all the teachings I get from other people is that I'm making things sometimes conditional.
Yes.
But they don't need to be.
No, exactly.
You don't need to have a reason for relaxation. You don't need to go to yoga class for relaxation. You don't need to
like meditate
for relaxation. You can do it all the time. You can do it everywhere. And
when you're working and just practicing that.
You are allowed to give the relaxation and the surrendering to yourself, and just being like, and also like sighing actually. Just like relaxing into it. It's your birthright.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also your power.
It is, and I feel like everything will beautifully align as well when you're in this state, like rest and calmness. And I feel like every good thing for you as well comes when you're in this state. I think that's like also helping you. Yes, and also because we also talked about the things that come easily, and that's usually really good for you. And it has also this sense of rest to it and calmness. Yeah. But that's so important too.
Super beautiful.
And I really like this thing. It's when you are in this moment that's like, I'm so overwhelmed or stressed or anxious, or you're like in a very negative mindset. It's also very nice to like envision that you're just this caveman. That's like caveman thoughts, and you can laugh about it. It's just like you can visualize yourself as like a caveman, like, I'm worried about this and this, and then you can make it a little lighter and you can laugh about it. And it's like
so true.
Yes,
and I think this also comes down again to the freedom that you can define reality and define your life as you want it to be.
Yes,
because I think all these things, that the way we define the world, like how we give meaning to the world, in the end, like make up our reactions to it, right? Like if I define it as something that is scary, then I'm gonna react in this way.
Yes.
And once I for example, like define death as something that I'm actually quite curious about one day. I'm not ready for it yet, but one day I'm going to be curious about it, and I'm going to step into it. And I think I realized so much things in my life were just actually being scared about dying.
Yes.
Also the thing of being beautiful. So in the end, I think it's also just being scared about dying, right? Because if you get ugly or old, it's like a long like a process of dying.
Of course.
And of course I enjoy being young and beautiful in a sense, but I really think that maybe it's just gonna be okay, right? It's just I don't need to be scared about it. It's just a process of maturing.
It is.
It's like a cheese, right? It's just what it does. And I can define things in the way I want.
Yeah, wow. That's so beautiful. I'm listening to you like mesmerized. I'm like, wow, I'm learning so much from you.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
That's also so beautiful. We are mirroring each other, right?
Yes.
So I'm learning a lot from our relationship as well. And I think that's really also in the end when it goes to love, right? Is that not in the end, but wherever love is everywhere.
Yeah,
but
love is everywhere. Yes, definitely.
Like that love is nothing, or relationships are nothing to to also control, and nothing to know already. Like that's the same thing, right? It's something actually. It's like a flower as well. Like every relationship is also a flower that you can see unfold, and it's not your position. I think that's how I see it, right? I don't want to. If you don't see it like this way, don't worry. I'm not gonna try to push it on you.
No,
I'm sharing.
I'm
sharing what I feel.
Yeah.
And so relationships are nothing to control as well, but rather to watch unfold without anticipating where it's gonna go.
Yes.
And just knowing it's just gonna happen like in the way it wants to bloom.
Exactly. And it's also what we talked about, that it's when you know that it's good for you, it will just unfold in this beautiful way. And I feel like you can also really tell when it's not good, and you can sense in your body, and even yeah, I think love is all around us. That's amazing. When you said that, I love that. Like with friends and other people, and when it unfolds. It goes with the flow, and you know as well. Like you know that it's just gonna go the way it should go, and sometimes also with love, I feel like you have this sense like, oh, I really wanted to go this direction, and that's like your old belief system wanting to have the control, you know. Or like you have this gut feeling and you're like, yes, but I know it should go this way. And it's so nice to surrender to that, to be like, no, but actually it will all just unfold the way it should unfold. That's good for me.
Yeah, that's good for you. Yes, that's so beautiful. No, I see that as well, and I think that when we don't anticipate things, that we like when we meet somebody and we really like them, and we want to get closer, and it feels maybe first just getting like a romantic kind of relationship, that actually changes and something is very different. We still are in a relationship, but it's maybe more friendship, or it's more like a even maybe just one-sided, right? It can also be just one-sided, that you get inspired from this person, but this person just doesn't think it back. I think that's really beautiful, to just see the relationships as they are, like they are a mirror. Like they don't need to serve you in a sense that you think they should.
Exactly.
And maybe even you're just gonna know what the relationship was about in the moment you don't have it anymore, right? So it's a constant dance with each other, like a figuring out, like watching the process unfold and surrendering to it. And I think then relationships can be really beautiful, because you allow the other person as well to be themselves, and you're not trying to push in a certain direction, but rather just enjoying with each other.
Yes, enjoying and just celebrating the love that's there, and just being there with each other. And because it's so beautiful, because the love is already there, you know, it's already there, and it's so nice to just celebrate it and not trying to control it and not trying to push it in a certain way, and just to be like, the love is here and I feel it, and it's beautiful the way it is. I think that's very important.
I feel like this is a very beautiful notion to end.
Yes.
How do you feel about this?
Yes. Yeah, I think we talked about everything so well. Like, it's such a great conversation. I could talk about this for hours, I think.
Yeah, me too, really much. I really enjoyed talking about it. And do you have anything like that you would like to share in the end? Some last thoughts?
Yeah, I just a little summary, I think, about just try to surrender to all the beautiful things in life and to enjoy. And I think for me right now, and that's what I really want to teach others, to just relax and have rest. And that's so important for your body. And what you also said about, you can always choose to relax. Also, even when you're working very a lot, or when your work feels stressful, allow yourself to practice to be, in complete rest, or like relaxing. I think it's so important. That's the thing I really want to, teach to people, to be relaxed. Yeah, and myself, of course.
Yeah, we're both still in the process, and that's beautiful, because I think that's all. That's what life is all about the process, or I guess about watching the process unfold. Thank you so much, Kiki, for sharing those last words. I really like these words, how you summarized it. And I hope you listener, you enjoyed it as well, and you could vibe with us a bit on the end of this device. We wish you a very, very beautiful day, and wish you a lot of relaxation, and hope to hear you soon.
And thank you so much for having me on this podcast. It was a pleasure, and so nice to have, to share these conversations we already have with others. I love that.
It's literally my biggest excitement and joy. And I'm really, really happy that you helped me also, in a sense, like it's a win-win situation, right? That you also gave me a reason why I can start again podcasting and bringing all these new ideas and thoughts out into the world. Yes. So stay excited, stay tuned about everything that's going to come up with my podcast. I'm working on some stuff.
I'm working on so much. Yes.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.